Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Bitcoin News Weekly Live. I'm your host, Rob Wallace, and we've got a great show in store for you today. All right, we got to get right into this. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your butts. It's starting to feel like we are entering the global melt-up phase of this fiat debasement story. The core of the Bitcoin thesis is simple. Nothing stops this train. Governments are drowning in debt, and they've got one way out: print a lot of money to pay back that debt with devalued currency. And the face of the reality is that there's only one rational move: convert your hard-earned fiat into scarce assets. And for generations, people have turned stocks and real estate as those scarce assets. And right now, both are booming. I mean, if you invested in those during COVID, you're doing well in fiat terms, right? You've doubled, you've tripled. But there's a caveat here. You see, the S&P 500, the world's most competitive index, it's hit 40 all-time highs in 2025. And then we look across the Pacific. We look at Japan's leading stock index. Last night, or their morning, it surged 4% as a new incoming prime minister, their first woman, Sanai Takachi, promises to weaken the yen and to halt rate hikes. So you see, it feels like you're getting rich, but then you realize the truth. These assets are not exploding in value. No, it is the dollar. It is the fiat currency underneath them that is imploding. The dollar is having its worst year since 1978. It's because everything comes down to the denominator. Let's look at these assets since COVID. In USD terms, the NASDAQ tech stocks are up 165%. S&P 500 is up over 100%. You've doubled your money. And home prices are up a very nice 56%. In gold terms, this changes, right? The NASDAQ is up just 7%. The S&P is up 18%. And home prices, you're actually losing versus gold. Home prices are 37% cheaper when priced in gold. But in Bitcoin, this is the true measuring stick. And it looks like this. The NASDAQ since COVID is down 78% against Bitcoin. The S&P is down 88% against Bitcoin. And home prices, that beautiful home you bought during COVID with a low interest rate, well, it is down 90% when priced in Bitcoin. And that's the reality that JP Morgan is now calling the debasement trade. And yes, gold has been shining and stealing a lot of headlines lately, but Bitcoin is the real winner, as these numbers show. So if you're new to Bitcoin, don't worry, it's not too late. Wall Street is just waking up to this, which us early adopters have already known. But you see, Bitcoin is key to maintaining your purchasing power as governments debase their currencies. The tsunami of money printing has only just begun. So protect yourself, protect your family with the only financial asset on earth that is absolutely scarce: Bitcoin. All right, everybody, welcome to this week's edition of Bitcoin News Weekly. I am very grateful to be joined by Bam. Bam, my good friend. How are you doing today, man?
How's it going, Rob? Doing great, doing great. It's great to be back here now in a video mode. Last time I did this I think it was last summer with you. It was just in Spaces, and here we are now.
Yeah, it's great to do it live on video. We can bring up the charts, bring up the articles, videos, share it all with the people, give a little more interactive experience, and yeah, break it all down. But so people who haven't met you before, tell them what you do in Bitcoin, how long you've been in it, and how you help the community grow.
For sure. So I'm Bam, and I've been in Bitcoin for a couple of years now. And not so long ago, I started my journey into trying to contribute a little bit to the space. And I started with like a newsletter, which led me to work a bit for Bitcoin Magazine's newsletter. And now it's been, about almost 2 years since we've been together cooperating in this newsletter without failing every single weekend. It's been a great journey. And also a year ago, I started working with Plan B Network, and I'm in the marketing department with them. I've been basically the one leading their socials, and lately now gaining more responsibility with them into all marketing things going on. So it's been a great year. I'm very happy to contribute in the space in Bitcoin, because I feel very blessed for all the benefits that Bitcoin has brought into my life.
Yes, absolutely. And so, yeah, I mean, we have put out 100 straight weeks of Bitcoin News Weekly, man. This
Awesome.
thing, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's our Sunday ritual. We put this newsletter together. Bam writes it. I edit it. Then we do this live stream. We have a lot of fun, and it saves you guys all this time of scrolling on X. You don't need to spend your whole life on X like I do. Like Bam spends a lot of time on there too. So we do that job for you. You all distilled into one easy place, and that place is right here. Let's bring it up. Our newsletter, Bitcoin News Weekly. Title of this week's edition is Everything is Booming Until You Price It in Bitcoin and Reality Hits. From stocks to real estate, all assets look like they're soaring, but when denominated in Bitcoin, the world is getting cheaper and cheaper. I mean, this has been our story from the get-go, right? This is why we got into Bitcoin, but it's really very starkly on stage now, on the world stage. People in places like banks, JP Morgan, are waking up to the fact that, stocks might be at all-time highs, but you're losing if you hold fiat and these assets, especially if you don't have any Bitcoin. All right, Bam, let's hop right into it. We always start off our show with the adoption section. So you highlighted this as the first story today. Kaleidoswap executes the first RGB20 stablecoin swap. USDT Tether on Lightning. This is no testnet, no demos, the real deal, proving RGB and Lightning now enable trustless, private, and decentralized asset trading on Bitcoin. What the heck does that mean? Explain that to our viewers here.
Well, I can try. The reason why is this on the first slot, I'm not gonna lie, it's because I feel very happy when I see adoption news that are not focused on price or institutions. These news sometimes pass by us because they are not so reshared. But this is very interesting, I would say, because it's basically what the crypto community tried from the get-go to try to do tokens and decentralized finance and all of these things that they try to justify themselves to create a token and sell it and dumping it to you. But in this case, it's all built on Bitcoin. I think Kaleidoswap is like an exchange, a decentralized exchange, and is working with RGB assets, which I'm not a pro on this topic, but the whole idea is that this way it allows them to create USDT in a decentralized way. I mean, it's still, of course, depending on Tether, but in this case, you could also have it on the Bitcoin side. So you don't need Ethereum for this, and they did a swap, which is like a trusted exchange of a dollar on Lightning. So I think this is the next step, because it's very interesting to see. Well, there was a question yesterday asked, I think, by Tiero. I don't know if you know him from ARC, who was posting that he's very happy to see that things are developing in the Bitcoin, because he will never see Sailor, for example, doing anything on WBTC, right? Like he won't be like wrapping his Bitcoin to do some DeFi or some collateral or something. But this is the kind of tools that enable capital to be used in different ways, which I think it will be very interesting in the future. Moving on.
Yeah, it's a big question, right? I mean, that was the big push for Taproot 5 years ago now, right? To be able to have other assets on top of Bitcoin, to utilize the Bitcoin rails to trade things like Tether, to send it back and forth. And now we're seeing it with RGB, which I think was originally developed by Giacomo and Peter Todd, correct?
The theoretical part.
The theoretical part, yes. And so now we're actually seeing it being implemented in real life, where people are sending Tether on top of the Lightning Network. So yeah, I think one big plus to this is that it shows the world that, hey, yeah, I mean, all these other coins, you say you have utility. Well, at the end of the day, that utility is most likely coming to the Bitcoin network. Just be patient, and it's going to come here. And Bitcoin is the most decentralized, secure network in the world. So why would you use any other, right? It is the monetary black hole, and it is going to absorb all of these other things. So don't waste your time with any of them. It's coming to Bitcoin.
Either be patient or join and build.
Yes, either be patient or join and build. Yeah, figure it out. And one next story that we have here. Big news out of Walmart. Who would have thought Walmart would be pushing forward with Bitcoin adoption? Well, they've gotten in the game. So now Walmart will accept Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies for payment at all of its stores through OnePay Cash, the fintech app it launched in 2021. So we wrote an article on this at bitcoinnews.com. Of course, all the articles, a lot of them you'll find on our website, of course. And this one is really interesting. So Walmart launched their own fintech app back in 2021. And this thing pretty much directly competes with PayPal, Cash App, Venmo. And the thing about it is that Walmart has 150 million customers, and you see OnePay whenever you check out at Walmart, right? And what's crazy is that now that Bitcoin is going to be, it's going to have a wallet on there. You're going to be able to use Bitcoin on this OnePay app. You're going to be able at checkout at Walmart, convert your Bitcoin into fiat or thus pay in Bitcoin for goods at Walmart when you check out. So this is pretty big. And just seeing Bitcoin pop up in more and more places, this is how adoption happens. And it's pretty wild that Walmart, one of the world's largest retailers, is diving in like this. What do you think about Walmart, OnePay, and Bitcoin?
I mean, I think this news is basically a comparison to what El Salvador did for nation states. This is now doing for retail. Walmart is allowing Bitcoin to creep into the everyday life. It's normalizing it in some way, right? Maybe some people could push back saying like, well, they're not actually using the Bitcoin themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's an intermediary. But as long as the optionality is there for people to use their Bitcoin to pay, that's what we need.
Yeah, and I mean, we can't let the good be, or the perfect be the enemy of the good, right? Like we need to the more these things happen, the better. And of course, as Bitcoiners, we like to be Puritans and say, no, Walmart must accept BTC straight into their wallet and hold it as a treasury asset. I mean, you could say that, but that would also make adoption a lot slower. I just think seeing Bitcoin be accepted as payment when you cash out, I mean, 150 million Americans are shopping at Walmart every week. So this OnePay app has a much larger reach than many of their other competitors. And I mean, we've seen PayPal and Venmo and Cash App all get into the Bitcoin trading game. But now we're seeing brick and mortar retailers, the largest one in America, one of the largest employers in America, take this on to their own services. And this is just really, really something else. So, I mean, OnePay wants to become an American version of the so-called super apps popular in Asia. So that's what Elon wants to do with X. Walmart wants to get in this game. And you better believe that Bitcoin will be on these apps if they want to stay competitive.
Right.
Yes. So right now, I'd like to shout out to everybody in the chat. I see Pamela. I see Satwise. We got Nima in the chat. Dave Roberts. Let's go. Bitcoin all-time high. We didn't even talk about that. Were you awake for the all-time high this weekend? Did you see Bitcoin get to 125K?
I saw it. I'm in Europe, so when I woke at 7 a.m., not today, yesterday, right? I saw that it was 125, not the top, but I saw 25, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. A good Sunday.
A good Sunday. Yeah, I mean, we are in October, and if you look at the price, I mean, October started here, right? Yeah, and we're up almost 10% in the first 6 days of October, going from 113 up to 124.7. Pretty amazing stuff. I mean, we're right. This is the all-time high that was set over the weekend. I was fast asleep Sunday night, but we hit 125,753 American fiat dollars for one Bitcoin. And I mean, if you zoom out, I mean, it's really this just the last through years. I mean, look at it on the monthly chart, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like this thing is a beast. This is unbelievable. Who's here? If you were here in January of 23, December of 22, at the depth of the FTX collapse, put a 1 in the chat if you've been in a Bitcoin for that long. Throw a 1 in the chat, right? Yeah, I mean, it's something else. Like we're up. What? How much? 681% if you've held from the beginning of 2023. And that's when I joined on Bitcoin News, right? And so I've been able to document and talk about and ride this beast up from the depths. And I mean, I think looking back on it, I guess it did take some guts to try to get into Bitcoin media at the bottom of this this bear market here, crashing down below the prior all-time high of 2017. People said that could never happen. We would never go below the former all-time high, and we did. 20K was hit in the end of 2017, and we rocketed all the way up to 69,000 in 21, and back down to 16,000 in the end of 22. But for those of us who know Bitcoin, who have studied it and realized the fundamental groundbreaking technology that this is, it's probably a good time to get in. Oh, and we're cracking at the door, dude. We're about to hit at 125. Let's go.
Let's go.
The market's reacting well to Bitcoin News Weekly Live. They're enjoying it. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this. We're having this could be an all-time high party. We're glad to have everybody here watching live with us as we are in truly like crazy times. You know, this is the debasement trade. This is the and like that's the thing. Is Bitcoin going up or is the dollar going down? 125.
Or both.
We hit it. Both. Indeed, both. 125, baby. Wow.
Awesome.
First time I'm seeing it awake. Amazing. Great to see. Beautiful. But we've got other headlines to get into. Of course, we'll be checking back. We'll see if we break this this 125.7 while we're talking live. It'd be great to see. Okay, so we've got Kaleidoswap doing, of course, Tether on the Lightning Network. Wild. We got Walmart, 150 million weekly customers in America alone who will be able to pay in Bitcoin with OnePay Cash, their fintech app. And now we have this launched over the weekend, Sora 2 by OpenAI. They launched a new app where you could essentially, it's like TikTok, but with all AI generated content. And when it first launched, I mean, it was wild. We had Pikachu videos, Michael Jackson videos, any South Park, like mini episodes of South Park were being created on this app. They did not have any copyright rails whatsoever, and you could do whatever you wanted with it. So, of course, P over on X, he made a video, and let's check this out. What did he do with Sora? He made Bitcoin propaganda.
Freedom, Morty, not that Disneyland brochure garbage. Actual, quantifiable, uncensored freedom. That's Bitcoin. Everything else is just monopoly money with a surveillance clause.
Oh, okay, but like, does it buy?
So, I mean, that is the voice of Rick. That is the voice of Morty. And we are getting a lesson in Bitcoin. These videos are only 10 seconds long. Of course, you can make multiple of them and stitch them together. But, I mean, it was wild this weekend. Did you see any of these Sora videos?
Yeah, not all Bitcoin though. But
Not all Bitcoin. No.
I saw the one of Stephen Hawking going into the half pipe.
I mean, let's.
That was awesome.
Yes, there was quite some pretty wild. Yeah, I can bring that up for the audience here. We got Stephen Hawking. Oh my God, he's on a half. Oh no, I mean, it's pretty wild stuff. I mean, AI has gotten out of control. You show this to somebody not an internet native, they're gonna think that's real, dude, right? Yeah. And so, I mean, it was pretty wild. The
quality is great.
Technology is unbelievable, and especially the fact that it was completely uncensored. You could use whatever copyrighted material you wanted to begin with. It was really amazing to see just the capabilities of it. But of course, I mean, the marketing mind of Sam Altman, if he definitely knows one thing, it's marketing. So they nerfed it already, right? I mean, the amount of lawsuits that they were probably being threatened with within the first 3 days were probably life ending. So they nerfed it. No more Michael Jackson, no more SpongeBob, no more Mario getting pulled over by the cops in his go-kart. But it was a glorious couple days where you could really make the pretty epic Bitcoin propaganda. I tried to make some. I made a video of, I tried to imagine a Weimar Republic in New York City, right? I made a video of a guy with a wheelbarrow full of cash going to Starbucks to buy a coffee, and somebody on the and kids playing with stacks of cash at the park. It was all right, not bad. I need to put some more time into it. I mean, it's an art of itself, the prompting, but the capabilities are really amazing.
And that's for anyone who pays a premium account, like the normal premium account.
So actually, I think you can use Zora 2 with just an invite code right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was lucky to get one from Connor. Shout out Connor Chepnik, author of Bitcoin News. Great dude. He hooked me up with that over the weekend, but it was the same day that they nerfed it with all the copyright stuff. So yes, things are moving fast. Get some Bitcoin. It's your protection. So now let's hop into the legal section here. We've got the U.S. Treasury fixes CAMT, the corporate alt minimum tax issue, sparing companies from being taxed on unrealized Bitcoin gains, preventing forced BTC sales, and boosting U.S. corporate Bitcoin adoption. So this was a remnant of the Biden administration. They had this, they proposed this corporate alt minimum tax. And what would that do? That would tax you on unrealized gains on Bitcoin, right? I mean, Saylor Strategy, they've invested, I believe, roughly $30 million in Bitcoin, and their Bitcoin is worth $77 billion now. So, I mean, we can just bring that up on Saylor Tracker.
I think they just announced today that they have done for this last quarter 3.9 billion of profit. Unrealized,
yes,
right?
Unrealized profit, right? So yeah, they have they are up $32 billion on their Bitcoin purchases. That means that yeah, they have a little over 80 minus 30. Yeah, so $48 billion, I guess they've invested into Bitcoin. It's worth almost $80 billion now. And that would be pretty rough to have to pay unrealized gains taxes on such a large position. And I mean, unrealized gains taxes, they're talking about it in Australia with their 401k accounts called superannuation accounts. But it really does feel like the end stages of capitalism if you're going to be taxed on unrealized gains, right?
I mean, if they're talking about that, it just means that they're about to pump the market, isn't it? Right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what they have left, right? I mean, the stock market in America, as we'll talk about later, really has become sort of like a matter of national security, right? They rely so heavily on the tax receipts from people making a profit on their stocks that if the stock market took a huge hit and they didn't get those taxes from people making money off stocks, there'd be a big problem, right? I mean, they're spending $7 trillion a year. America is. They're taking in roughly $5 trillion on a good year if we have a good stock market return and all that. So if the stock market was to go down 25% for the year, that would take at least, I think, $1 trillion off of the tax receipts, right? Like that's a big deal, especially when you're running the world's largest Ponzi scheme with $37 trillion in debt. I mean, it's risky business. And it is so important that they keep this game going, because this number doesn't go down. We're about to hit $38 trillion worth of debt, right? We're adding $1 trillion every 100 days. It's It's no joke. Like, these numbers are really staggering. I mean, it's even crazy. Like, back before COVID, I mean, we were $10 trillion below this, more, right? I mean,
yeah, I remember it was like about 30 or something.
Less, dude. Yeah, I mean, I think in 2018 we were at 23 trillion.
Really?
Right? 23 trillion in 2018. I mean, Trump, for love him or hate him, he adds a lot to this number here. So did Biden, but so does Trump. The whole entire
the chart. I don't know if you've seen it, but this chart of like who issues more printed money, either the Democrats or the Republicans. It's just a matter of who was the last president. It's always going up.
It's always going up.
Every president just issues more than the previous one, and so on.
Yeah, it's almost as if it's a Ponzi scheme, right? And it's almost as if they don't issue more debt than the guy before them, the whole entire house of cards will collapse. So yeah, it's pretty crazy what's going on here. I mean, the writing's on the wall. And for people, I mean, us as Bitcoiners, we know this number, right? We know $37 trillion. But for the average person, that means nothing to them. It makes no sense unless you study this stuff, unless you see it grow over time and the acceleration of that growth. 37 trillion, who cares, right? But this is the real deal, because in order to pay back that $37 trillion, they're going to need to weaken the currency that you save in, your fiat money, right? Unless you save in Bitcoin.
Exactly. And that's why we do it.
That's why we do it. So yes, getting back to the headlines, fixing this loophole is big. I mean, it really does seem as if Saylor does have the ear of the administration, right? I mean, there's pictures of him with Trump's sons. He's going to DC. He just gave a talk last week in DC at the conference called BTC in DC. I mean, the US government is shut down right now, but there was still a Bitcoin conference going on in DC with members of Congress, with members of the military. I mean, they showed up to that, right? So
the irony, huh?
Yeah, right.
That's awesome. It's crazy to hear.
Yeah, Bitcoin doesn't sleep. The government obviously does right now. And I mean, it does seem as if it's part of Trump's plan. Like the Democrats really played into his hands that he can supposedly cut some grift and pet projects of the Democrats right now. That's his plan while the government shut down. But I mean, at the end of the day, nothing's stopping this train. 37.8 trillion, about to be $38 trillion worth of debt. And they're going to need your taxes. So unrealized gains taxes aren't on the docket now for Bitcoin treasury companies. But who knows what happens, what craziness, how desperate the state will be moving forward.
To be fair on that point, I mean, everyone has the incentive that this doesn't move through, right? All the politicians have assets, like all the lawmakers are on the elite side, so they will be doing this to themselves. Who knows?
That's very true. Very true. Yeah, I mean, Nancy Pelosi is the best stock trader in American history, right? She's better than Warren Buffett. She knows what she's doing over there. She gets the inside scoop and turns that information into stock market gains. So her realized gains taxes are definitely helping the U.S. government's bottom line. But to what extent is she taking advantage of her privileged position? Yes.
Very limited. Very limited.
Speaking of taking advantage, this is an epic story with lots of different threads on even a geopolitical scale. We've got this story coming out of the UK, the United Kingdom, which is in its own mess of its own right now. But we've got Yadi Zhang, a Chinese national, has pled guilty in the UK after the world's largest Bitcoin seizure worth $6.7 billion, maybe a little bit more right now. I don't know. Let's check the chart right now. Hey, 125 too. So she had stolen 61,000 Bitcoin and then now sits in limbo, either returned to victims in China or absorbed by the UK state. So I put together a little piece about this. Oh, we got the TFTC version. Let's get the Bitcoin news version, laid it all out for you. Super nice here. But I mean, this is a crazy story, and it's been 7 years in the making, actually a decade plus in the making. Yes, this right here. Perfect. So Yadi Zhang, as we said, this woman right here, scammer, she stole 61,000 Bitcoin. How did she do it? She did it in China's real estate boom in the early 2010s or mid 2010s. Between 2014 and 2017, she went around telling victims in China that, hey, give me money and I will buy apartments. We're making all this real estate development. And I mean, that's the thing about China during this time. I mean, they had ghost cities left and right. Like Chinese had very little options to invest their money. Real estate is tried and true there for centuries, right? And so people were just getting scammed by these scam artists who said, hey, give me your money and I'll go build an apartment building over in Huizhou and you'll never see it. Don't worry, it's going to go up in a couple years. Just give me your money. You want to get in early. She took all this money from over 3 years. She was known as the goddess of wealth because they had this great scam going, right? So she would take their money from 128,000 victims. And then instead of putting into real estate like she promised, she turned it all into Bitcoin. And then she fled to the UK. I mean, why the UK? I'm not really sure why you would go there with 61,000 Bitcoin. But then she couldn't get her mind off property. So she decided to try to turn that Bitcoin into property in the UK. How did she get busted? She had a buddy she met there, I think another woman who was actually working as a food delivery driver. She had this food delivery driver go and try to buy a 23 million pound mansion with these stolen funds. And of course, that raised a bunch of red flags, and she was caught. And the UK cops were able to seize this Bitcoin in the late 2010s, 61,000 Bitcoin. The story has been playing out for over 5 years in the UK courts, right? Well, finally, she has pled guilty to the crime. And one of the reasons, I think, is because there's probably a lot of heat coming from the Chinese citizens who were stolen from back in the day. And so her lawyers are saying that now the victims back in China can be repaid in full, noting that Bitcoin's rise means there are more than sufficient funds available to repay all the money that she's stolen. But reports suggest that the UK government may try to keep the Bitcoin, instantly creating the world's third largest national strategic Bitcoin reserve, right? We've got China and America, both with around 200,000 Bitcoin. This would come in at number 3 with 61,000 Bitcoin, roughly 10x the amount that El Salvador has, right? So this is a big deal. There was new laws passed in the last government under the Tory government that said that the state has the ability to seize and hold crypto that they take from criminals while allowing victims to petition to get their money back. So this has a lot of geopolitical ramifications, right? There's all these Chinese victims. The UK government was the ones who were able to capture the Bitcoin, to seize it, and to get her behind bars. Will they pay back the Chinese citizens? Will they keep the Bitcoin? Will they sell the Bitcoin to try to repay their budget shortfall, which is really bad right now? I mean, the UK's governments are financials are in shambles. They're in big debt. The Labour government doesn't know what they're doing. This woman, Rachel Reeves, their finance exchequer, is crying in Parliament. It's a wild situation over in the UK. And now we've got 61,000 Bitcoin, possibly the world's third largest strategic Bitcoin reserve in the balance. So, Bam, what do you think about this story? Do you think the UK is smart enough to hold on to this Bitcoin? Should they repay the people in China? What should go on here?
I mean, so you're saying that these guys, the government, just fumbled 58,000 Bitcoin a year ago and sold it for like $60,000. So basically, just like 2 or 3 days ago, they were saying that they lost potential 4 billion almost in profits from the stack that they sold. And now they got it again for free.
Yeah. Well, it was Germany that sold the 50,000 Bitcoin.
Oh,
year.
it was not UK.
Yes.
It was
No,
Germany.
yes, it's Germany.
It was
Germany. Yes.
So
But
I
mean,
hope they learn from Germany's mistakes, but I wouldn't be surprised if they sell it. What I think it won't happen is the Chinese people getting back their money.
no.
No.
I mean, China's a big player, dude.
That's UK's money now.
You think? I don't know, man. I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, of course, Bitcoin was a couple $100 in 2014, and now it's $125,000 per Bitcoin. This is $6.7 billion. She did not steal $6.7 billion,
right.
So, but the thing is,
maybe they get only the nominal value.
So that could be an answer. But I mean, this is a big deal. This has geopolitical ramifications. And if China realizes that the West is starting to develop these strategic Bitcoin reserves, and there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin, they're not going to want the UK government to
have
essentially
more
have
than them.
stolen it from their own citizens, right? I mean, it's
But maybe the next bear market, it will be triggered by something like this.
Well, I mean, a couple of weeks ago in August, we saw a whale sell 80,000 Bitcoin in one clip, and it went down a couple $1,000, so we're back up at all-time highs, right? So it's crazy. I mean, we see these numbers like 61,000 Bitcoin. That's a lot of Bitcoin, right? A couple $1 billion. But I really think the only player that could actually screw with this market right now on such a scale is MicroStrategy, right? I mean, 640,000 Bitcoin is a lot different than 1/10 of it at 61,000.
Which now they seem to have their new technique with stretch to be able to have unlimited capital.
In
the near future, maybe. Let's see.
Yeah, let's hop into that story next. But if you are watching live, thank you so much for joining us, Bitcoin News Weekly. I'm your host, Rob Wallace. We've got Bam, the author of Bitcoin News Weekly, with us as well this week. Very grateful to have you all here. Hit that like button, share this. If you're watching on X, if you're on LinkedIn watching this, you can share it to all your friends, open up their eyes to what Bitcoin is. And on YouTube, share this link, hit the like button, subscribe to us on YouTube. We really appreciate everybody tuning in. We do this every Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern. Really great to have you here. So yes, this was a big story. This week, we have in the treasury section, let me bring it up. Strategy had their preferred stocks listed on Robinhood. This guy right here, Vlad, his platform, of course, at the center of the whole entire GameStop controversy. And some love him, some don't like him so much. But this was an interesting tidbit. So we have STRC. STRC is one of Strategy's preferred stocks, right? And so the Strategy wants to become the standard oil of Bitcoin. What does that mean? That means they want to take the raw commodity of Bitcoin, this digital commodity, and refine it into products, digital financial products for people to buy, and it fits their different needs. And so one thing that people need right now is reliable fixed income, right? Because they're getting murdered with the standard rates. If you've got a money market fund paying you 4%, I mean, we all know that real inflation is more than that, right? You're getting debased more than 4%. But we've got this STRC here, which is a preferred stock, and it's offering a 10.25% yield. Very hard to find that in any legitimate financial product at these days, unless you're taking big risk on some junk stuff. So this preferred stock is offered now on Robinhood, but people were taking advantage of this immediately, right? Because you could buy it on margin and arbitrage it, right? Make the difference, make it easy 5% with zero risk. And so this guy here, HH Bitcoin, he reports that margin requirements were raised from 50% to 100% within hours of listing, triggering forced liquidations, including his $7 million arbitrage position. So he was making a free 5%, no risk, but then they doubled the margin requirements and it made him liquidate. So investors argue this move is inconsistent, noting that MSTR carries only a 25% requirement despite being more volatile. But the reality is that Robinhood likely raised the margin requirements to prevent excessive capital concentration in STRC because 10.25% is just too attractive.
I mean, if they are offering you 6% interest on debt, I think I read it was like 5 to 8% depending on your account. And then you can just take that more capital in the same platform and get 10.25% dividend. That sounds, I mean, who wouldn't do it, right?
Yeah, that's the ARB. That's the free money, right?
Yeah.
So that's why they had to raise these margin requirements, because it was just a deal too tasty and was hurting their bottom line, right? But I mean, the STRC, let's bring it up on the charts here because it's an interesting stock. In the sense that it's supposed to be like a $100 stable coin, essentially. What does that mean? That means that, I mean, it started trading at $85 when it launched, and it's been working its way up towards $100. $100 is the magical number here. So once below $100, STRC will raise the dividend rate. So it went from below 10% to 10, and now it's 10.25% because they're trying to make it more and more attractive for people to invest to get it to 100. And then if there's more interest and people buy it up at 100 and the price goes up, they will sell it or issue more shares. Issue more shares, and thus sell them on the open market, bringing the price to a stable 100 they hope for. And then, of course, use those proceeds to do, what does MSTR do? They go out and buy more Bitcoin. So this is a Bitcoin buying machine operation in the form of a preferred stock. Pretty crazy stuff. Definitely a interesting take on the markets where they're at, finding the need, which is people need their fixed income. That 10% is very attractive, and Saylor wants more Bitcoin, so he'll sell you that 10% and then make it up in Bitcoin's 30-40% CAGR, right? So it's
my question here is, what's stopping pension funds, I mean, instead of buying fixed income, just buying these kind of instruments? Is it because it has to be rated?
Yeah, it's because this is a brand new instrument. I mean, Saylor willingly admits that he created these preferred stocks by jamming out with AI over the weekend, right? So these are relatively new financial products. They are untested. They are not rated yet. And for these pension funds, they need lots of consensus on the market to be able to go out and add them to the portfolio. So interesting times. And I mean, we're about to hit that 100. And I mean, this could really be, I mean, Saylor thinks that STRC is really their iPhone moment, that he found perfect product market fit, and that this will take them to the next level and be the fusion reactor to buy Bitcoin.
I think for me, the interesting thing on this is that, I mean, as retail, we normally have access to loans. It depends on your jurisdiction, right? But it could be from 6 to 10% sometimes. If you are in other countries, it could skyrocket, right? But the point was that 4 years ago, 5 years ago now, when MSTR started to issue bonds to buy Bitcoin, he was getting 25 basis points or 50 basis points or even 0. So it felt, as a retail person, felt very scary to, if you will say like, okay, I'll get a loan for myself and buy Bitcoin for the long term, not for day trading or anything. It felt a bit unfair that I could potentially get like 9% interest on a debt, while these institutions were getting like almost 0. And then one could think, okay, that means that maybe I shouldn't do it because it's too risky for me to get this kind of high interest. But now they are doing it too. So it's like, if they are doing it, what stops anyone from doing it themselves, right? You don't have to buy their product. You could do your own loan with the bank and then just buy some Bitcoin. And I think as well, like the level of security that people give to this kind of instruments of like STRC or Strike and Stretch and Strike and Strife, it's like, I mean, this only works if Bitcoin works. People have to agree that only if Bitcoin works, this works, right? Because they are buying Bitcoin with that capital. So that sort of assumes that you're betting on Bitcoin, then just go into Bitcoin.
Yeah. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we prescribe, right? We say, stack your sats, get your Bitcoin, your own. And you know what? You know what's our preferred way to get Bitcoin? That would be with our friends from Rhino. Rhino is the sponsor of the show, and we are very grateful for them. And we have to go out and tell you guys that, man, Rhino is a great place to go out and get your Bitcoin. It's an all-in-one Bitcoin super app built by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. Of course, you can buy or sell your Bitcoin instantly. You can send sats anywhere on the Lightning Network and withdraw straight to cold storage. I mean, we got the app right here, right there. You can see we're almost at all-time highs. Keep track of the Bitcoin price on the Rhino app, no doubt. And there's multiple things you can do here, right? I mean, you can go buy gift cards, turn your sats into gift cards, get cash, get money back for doing so, And if you use Casa, you're into multi-sig, which I really think that anybody who's holding a decent amount of Bitcoin should be into multi-sig. Look into the options. You got calls. You can integrate it straight into your Rhino app right here. This can be one of your 5 keys. And why Rhino, they're just warming up. Soon you'll be able to pay bills, borrow against your Bitcoin, stack for retirement, all without leaving the app. So, today, go out, download Rhino, give it a try, see if you like it. It's easy. Go to rhinobitcoin.com or just tap the link below down there on the YouTube description. Use the code Bitcoin News, one word, Bitcoin News, and Rhino will drop you $10 of free Bitcoin into your account today. And within 10 years, that can be a whole lot of money. So secure your stack right now with Rhino. They're good people. Ask them any questions you got. They're more than willing to help you. And we are very grateful for them to be sponsoring this show. So yes, Bam, we got 15 minutes left. And I think we definitely got to dive into the title of today's show, the debasement trade. What is going on here? There's some really awesome charts that came out over the weekend explaining everything that we're talking about here, because it feels like we're getting all-time highs in all these, from stocks to real estate. But it all depends on what your denominator is, depending to show you if you're really coming out on top. And so let's take a look at the article that you wrote. And we have this chart here from Luke Groman. And JP Morgan is talking about this, the debasement trade. They're finally coming to terms with it. They say you got to get gold, Bitcoin, and the numbers are very, very clear. Since the beginning, since COVID, 5 years ago, NASDAQ is up 165%. So, that's this crazy chart here. The S&P is up 500, is up 100%. That's this blue line here. These is all in dollars, right? When you measure in dollars. And housing is up 55% when measured in dollars. But if you measure it in gold, those returns aren't so good, right? Because gold went from $2,000 an ounce to roughly $4,000 an ounce right now. So those returns are not nearly as good. Well, I guess before, when COVID started, gold was below $2,000 an ounce. It went to that high during the craziness of all the money printing then. So yeah, in gold terms, you're only looking at a 7% gain when it comes to NASDAQ, and actually a negative 18% when it comes to S&P, and your housing is 36% cheaper. You could look at it like that, right? When priced in gold.
Yeah.
But Bitcoin, this is the real winner here, right? Since 2020, NASDAQ is down 78% when priced in Bitcoin. S&P is down 84%. Home prices are down 87%. And actually, with this new all-time high, they're down 90%. We just put out this chart this morning from our friend Phil Rosen over at the Opening Bell. But yeah, this shows it, right? Home prices in USD terms are up 51%. So they can 51% more expensive in dollar terms, but priced in Bitcoin, they're down 90%. Homes are 90% cheaper than they were 5 years ago when priced in Bitcoin. This is it. This is the cheat code.
Yeah.
You need
meaning if the house was 10 Bitcoin, now it's only 1.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Exactly. So yeah, of course, we've all seen the charts. Back in 2015, a house was 500 Bitcoin. In 2018, it was 120 Bitcoin. Now the average house is what, $400,000 to $500,000 in America. I think 400. That's 3.5 Bitcoin, right? Like 3.5 Bitcoin for a house, for the average house in America now. That's astounding, and it's only getting cheaper, right? Bitcoin has no top because fiat has no bottom. Things are going to get more and more expensive in dollar terms, but in Bitcoin, they're getting cheaper for you. This is the debasement trade. JP Morgan is just waking up to it. If you've been into Bitcoin for longer than a weekend, you've been privy to this for longer than JP Morgan. This is really important stuff, and I think it's these charts like this that will open up the eyes of your normie friends who have no idea what's actually going on here. What do you think about this, Bam?
And I think it's what the Bitcoiners have been saying for a couple of years, and it's now finally happening in mainstream media. with this, in this case, CNBC reporting. It's a JP Morgan analyst, right, who said it, or coined it as a debasement trade. I think it's awesome to see that we were right all along, and not only, I mean, we know we were right, but it's now being said out loud by the mainstream media. And from my experience, it's been very weird. The last couple of weeks, I have talked with normie friends, and they all feel that the stock market is super high and everything is about to crash. It seems that there's a consensus on that. While on the Bitcoin side, everyone is thinking that everything is about to go up, and Bitcoin even more. So it just makes you think.
Yeah, I mean, markets climb a wall of worry up, right? So, I mean, let's just look at the stock market. I mean, as I said in the intro, I mean, this is super funny, right? Trump on like April 15th said, let me make this a little bigger here. I'm gonna zoom out on the weeks. But he said, of course, when we hit that tariff tantrum bottom, he said, this is a great time to buy. That dude's been right. I mean, these are all-time highs. This is 40 plus all-time highs.
That's an awesome chart.
2025.
He was not lying.
He wasn't lying. The man knew. Because again, this is a matter of national importance, right? Of security, national security. And so, I mean, this is insane. This is the debasement trade. This is gold, right? 2011, this was the ramifications of all the money printing from 2008, 2009. Gold ran up to $1,900, cratered down to around $1,000. 2016, yeah. I mean, and people thought that's when financial analysts were saying that gold is just a shiny rock. It's not doing anything. Its time is done. It's pointless. And I mean, I was a gold bug at this time. It wasn't until 2016 that I bought my first Bitcoin. And since then, I mean, gold after the COVID printing, it started banging its head up against $2,000, and it took 4 times. One, two, three, four tops at 2K.
Across how many years?
This is from 2020 to 2020, end of 23. So essentially 24, 4 years. It banged up against $2,000 for 4 years. So even after all the COVID money printing, it still couldn't do what it just did since then, right? So this is beginning of 24 up until now. Gold has doubled. It's gone from $2,000 to essentially $4,000.
It's really cool to see. I don't own any gold, but I am happy that it's also ripping.
It's ripping, and I mean, for of course gold to have doubled in that time, gone up 100%. But the thing is, gold is such a big asset, right? So this move here is the adding of over $10 trillion in market cap.
Yeah,
I
think I read that just in the last year it added 10 trillion.
Yeah, well, I mean this last year it started, boom, with gold at 2,700, right? So yeah, I mean that's the majority of the move has happened in just 2025. But yeah, that's 10. So I think 12 trillion from 2K to, I guess, to 4K. That's a lot. Bitcoin is a baby. Bitcoin is a $2.5 trillion asset, right? I mean, we go to assets by market cap. And
so that kind of means that there's nothing stopping Bitcoin from going from 500K to 1 million within a year. Not from now, but whenever it's 500,000.
Yeah, I mean, once the big players get a smell of this, I mean, and silver itself too. We first flipped silver back in November of last year for the first time. But the thing was, silver's market cap back then was 1.7 trillion. Silver's market cap has added $1 trillion in the last year, right? So we were 1.7 back last November too, and now we're at 2.5 essentially. But yeah, I mean, it's $1 trillion here, $1 trillion there. I mean, $1 trillion is an unfathomable number that wasn't part of financial lexicon until most recent years, right? The last decade. Now we've got trillions going willy-nilly. $26 trillion market cap for gold. Nvidia, the first ever $4 trillion market cap company. I mean, your Your dollar's being debased. These numbers are getting so big because the dollar is so weak. That is the point of today's live stream. That is the point we want you to go out and tell your friends, tell your family that, yeah, these numbers look great on paper, but just what does it buy you? Does $100 buy you the same it did 5 years ago? No, it buys you about 25, 30% less. Does $100 buy you what it did a decade ago? Absolutely not, No. So it's, and so, yeah, I think I brought up the charts here. Yeah, the dollar's having its worst year in decades. Look at this. It's at the bottom of this chart, and this is charting all the dollar plays over a year since the 70s, right? It's on track for its worst year since 1973, down 10%. This is no joke. This is your purchasing power. You work for a fiat currency. You most likely you earn a fiat currency. And if that fiat currency has lost 10% of its value within the last 365 days, you're being robbed from. You got to protect yourself.
I co-sign this message. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy out there, man. And yeah, I think you wrote a great piece here, really summing it all up very succinctly. And we're at all-time highs, and the normies don't really care. Nobody's really talking about it. So we're still early, yet.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It's coming. It's coming.
It's coming. Yeah, this is the time, right? This is Q4, 18 months after the halving, and we're likely about to rip. And lots of things going on. Yeah, dude, Bam. Do you have any words for the viewers? What would you like to leave them with?
No, I as usual, just keep stacking sats. That's the message. And if I can chill a little bit, I will encourage everyone, if they want to learn about Bitcoin, there's a great resource called planb.network, where there's an incredible amount and growing amount of Bitcoin courses and tutorials just out there for you. Open source. A great place to learn. All languages, not all languages, but more than 20 and growing. So we are working hard for enabling anyone to be able to learn about Bitcoin. So
no, dude, I mean, this is amazing, right? If you want to learn about Bitcoin, it's all right here, right? From beginner to advanced, from philosophy to technical. Yeah, I mean, where should people start? If they go to Plan B, if they want to get started?
Courses, Bitcoin, and the 101 is just the Bitcoin journey and getting your first Bitcoins. You will learn there and everything from what is Bitcoin, the history of money, and how to set up a wallet and start stacking. There's even now a new one above. It's the setting up your Bitcoin node. So it also teaches you why a node is important for sovereignty and how to do it from scratch.
Nice. And it's videos. How long are the videos, and how long does it take to get through a class like this?
It depends. It could be a combination of videos or just text. And every course is a bit different, but I will say they are between 3 and 5 hours, most of them.
Cool. No, this is great. I mean, and this
one is 10, for example.
Yeah, say it again.
This one is 10, for
10
example.
hours. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's so awesome that we are at the point of Bitcoin and its maturity and its growth that you have a thing like this. Planb.network. Go there. Courses in all different languages, videos, text, and you can teach yourself Bitcoin. I mean, that's what most Bitcoiners are. We're autodidacts, right? We teach ourselves things, and this is a great place to go out and do it. And it's, I mean, some of the biggest names, of course, in Bitcoin and Bitcoin development have helped contribute to this. And do you have live classes as well on here?
There's something new that's starting. We have federated courses now, which could be, let's say you want to give a course, and then you can use the platform to have all the technology implemented, and then you just come sign up to give your course to your audience. and you can charge them in Bitcoin and everything. So it's growing in this direction. And then we have 2 courses that are hybrid, and the popular ones, which is the Tech School and Biz School, which is the business school. And the idea is like it's like 100 hours of courses, and they end up in a workshop, in a live workshop for the top 21 students. It has been so far like that. But it's a hybrid courses happening in Lugano, in El Salvador, in other places where people can tune in remotely, or if they're in the area, go directly to the in-person course. And this is from the business side or tech side, it depends. Very intense 2-month program with the objective of anyone who participates and goes until the end to try to find a job in the Bitcoin space. Very cool.
Beautiful. There you go. You're interested in Bitcoin. You want to get involved. You want to learn. You want to get a job in Bitcoin. Plan B Network. Great place to start. Bam. Thank you so much for your time. This has been awesome. Bam is the guy who writes these things, right? We work on this together every single weekend. 100 plus Bitcoin News Weeklies. It was only right to have you on as the guest this week. Thank you so much, Bam. This man
Thank
right
you, Rob.
here. It's been absolutely awesome. All right, everybody, go sign up for Bitcoin News Weekly. Share this video, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. We are here every Monday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern with Bitcoin News Weekly. And you're going to wake up with an inbox full of this Bitcoin news. You're going to watch us and you're going to know everything you need to know for the week ahead. Thank you so much. It's been great. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Cheers.